Hello, I'm Mrs. Munson and welcome to Repurposing Junk. This is Lily and today we are not working with junk at all. We're working with ceramics, and these ceramics are pieces that I have collected at junk sales and vintage places, and there's something called hobby ceramics, and I got kind of hooked on these because my grandma and my aunts used to go and paint ceramics in the 60s and 70s. And there used to be shops all over, and they were considered the biggest hobby of the time in America, according to some. And what would happen is the owners of the shop would cast molds, and they would be greenware. And then the customers would come and they would paint underglazes and glazes, and it was kind of an intricate process. Today, when you go to a paint-it-yourself shop, it's usually a bisque product, and then you'd simply paint, and the store glazes and fires it, and you go back one time and pick up your product. But the whole ceramics of the 60s and 70s, it was kind of a bigger process, and you'd spend several sessions getting yours just right. And here are a few that I wanted to talk about. Usually you would just look on the bottom and you can see often there's a date, usually there's a name. This one's Dwight. And I wish Dwight all the luck because this has got a ring, and I'm hoping that maybe Dwight used it as his engagement, but we hope that he did well. My aunts used to paint these guys with the big eyes, and they had, I remember, like motorcycle and all kinds of guys with big eyes doing different things. I just picked this up a little while ago and used it as my Easter decoration this year, and it's from 1966, and I'm pretty happy to have found it. This one cracks me up. I love the fact that most of them have just a little quirk to them, and this one definitely does. I bought it as a set, and I don't know about it as a set, but they were definitely painted together, so the lady considered it a set, and we're going with that. This is our subject or our project for this session, and I just love to get one of these pieces of ceramics, and like I've done with this, just put a light bulb on the top. I just find it to be so simplistic, and it's almost cartoon-like, and that's what we're going to do with this chicken. When I found this, I thought it reminded me so much of one my grandma had, and indeed I got a hold of my cousin, and she said that, yeah, grandma had something like this. It's not exactly like this, but it made me remember grandma's cookie jars. So it opens like this. We're gonna just keep it closed, and we'll put a lamp base through there, and this will be a chicken cookie jar. So also I'm gonna show you all kinds of lamps that I've done in the past, because I've had this thing with ceramics for a while, and I think that sticking a light bulb on top of one of these guys is a great idea. So I've done it a lot of times, and I'll show you some that I think have turned out really nicely. So stay with us and enjoy the show. Thank you. So Lily and I are out junking at a Goodwill store that is not our local store. This one is kind of an upscale store, and I'm seeing something. Oh, I'm so excited. My grandma had this, and I know everybody at my sales always comes and tells me how excited they are. This is was made in ceramics by grandma. So let's see what we got. $6, $5.99. 50% off green. That's not it. Yeah. Oh man, breaking stuff. but it was made in '76 by Marie. So I definitely need to have this. Oh, it's I think it's a cookie jar. But that's okay. We'll make it into something fabulous. Yay! Now I'm going to drill into our chicken, and this can be kind of a nerve-wracking process because if you mess it up and break the chicken or whatever you're drilling into, that's that. I've done it before and I've broken stuff that makes me sad, but it's worth the risk. So I'm using a drill bit that's diamond coated. When you go to the hardware store, you're just going to tell them what you're doing, or if you're going online, you're looking for a diamond drill bit, and it's made for drilling into ceramics and glass. This is a 1/2-inch drill bit. When you drill, you want to keep it wet. I've seen some demonstrations where you actually do it underwater. I don't do that. I just squirt it as I go along. Apply even pressure. Don't be in a hurry. If you really press on it, that's when you tend to break your items. So just apply even pressure and squirt it every once in a while, and you'll be fine. So here we go. Now we figure out various ways to get our little chicken to become a lamp, and I've decided I like the look of this little ball as a buffer between the lamp rod and the fixture. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, I think this side works best. I'll go ahead and screw the base of the fixture onto the lamp rod. And then we're going to put the ball in. And I had this ball sitting around, and I did go ahead and drill a hole through the bottom. The top had a hole already drilled, and I went and drilled one through the bottom. Well, I think I want to go this way. Yeah, that fits better. And then it's going to sit through like this. But what I found when I did this, the trick was this, no matter what I found, it's not going to sit flush. So we're going to have to fill this in a little bit, but that's okay. There wasn't anything that I could find that was going to, I couldn't fit any nuts or bolts or anything to fill that in. So we'll work on that in a little bit. So this is going to be basically how it goes. I am going to put a nut on the inside to hold this together. So flip this over and thread a nut all the way down this lamp rod, which, as you can imagine, is going to take a while. So through the magic of my video, this is going to happen, and you'll see it all in the next step. So I have twisted the nut on, and it's good to go. We are going to secure this down, and the trick is to get it on straight. And in order to do that, I want to make sure it's straight by putting it on the base first. And it'd be really cool if we could just put it on that way, because then it would be flush with the base, but that won't work. So I'm going to get it on as straight as it appears. And I'll do it like this, and just kind of tape it down so it looks good from the outside. It doesn't matter how much tape we use. We're just trying to get it to hold fast here. Let's go like this. When my grandma used to do embroidery, she used to say that the back should look as good as the front. And bless her heart, it did. Okay. Now, the trick is to get this glued in place. This will hold it really good. Hey, I didn't think of that before. So what we're going to do is our friend Gorilla Glue. And Gorilla Glue wants to be damp. And so I found that just spraying stuff with a little bit of water like that meets the damp ticket. And I am just going to put a little Gorilla Glue through here. I'm going to do that where that lamp rod is. And that tends to hold it a little differently. Something else with a Gorilla Glue to climb on. Hopefully that'll kind of catch the tissue a little bit more. Sort of wrap around that rod. And then I'll put some more Gorilla Glue over the tissue. Put a little tissue down at the bottom around the base of it too. Kind of like 2 layers of Gorilla Glue now, and it'll grow up all over that. And it'll be a big pile of Gorilla Glue, like a big ugly pile, but it doesn't matter because nobody's going to see in there. Okay. We've let our chicken dry overnight, and it's been a nice opportunity to let her dry, and you can see how the Gorilla Glue has puffed up and grown, and it has put this in a nice state of being very secure. You can see how this now is a big mess, so my next step is going to be to chip away at the Gorilla Glue. Probably should have done a little more taping off. Wasn't really thinking that's all the way through, but it's okay. We'll just go with it. Use that as a learning opportunity and all that. And I'll go ahead and work with what we got. So, okay, so I am going to need to do something about that. The Gorilla Glue is going to come off some things, like this. On the wood ball, that won't be a problem because I was planning to paint that anyway. And I'll just be able to sand that off. You can see how it kind of comes off like this, so I'll be able to sand that off. stuff like this. We'll just get it all cleaned up. So I will work on that. And we'll be inspired for our next step. I've got this wooden piece sanded down, and the part that I'm working on now is, I don't like this right here, this where the lamp rod is showing. It just looks quite unfinished. So I've got this stuff here, plastic wood. It's just some putty stuff I've got kicking around. So I'm gonna fill in the wood dowel. Oh, it seems pretty dried out, but that's okay, I think. I'm just gonna use this putty to fill this in, and then we'll sort of sand that down. And I'm gonna paint the whole thing. So even though it might look a little unfinished, by the time we get it sanded and painted, it'll look quite fine indeed. So that's what we're gonna do. Let this dry, paint it, and we'll be in good shape. Now it's time to paint the ball, and I've decided to go ahead and paint the lamp works also, so it's a little more cohesive. And I really like this color. It's called chocolate brown, and it's metallic, but I want a little contrast, so I'll add some black to it. I like these multi-surface paints. They stick to metal a little bit better, so I will mix a little black into here and make it a little darker, and it'll take a couple of coats and let them dry in between. After we get that done, I'll just have to wire it and we'll be good to go. So I'm not sure how dark I want that to get. I can never be satisfied with the colors out of the jar. It seems I've always got to mix them up. Okay, too much black, so now we're going to go with the one more brown. And sometimes I like it when I don't mix them all the way up. It's cool to have them a little variegated. Time to wire up our chicken. Start with the cord, and we'll just run this cord up through the chicken's butt. Yep. This is going to be pretty easy to do because we got the two pieces, which turned out made this a pretty easy project. So, and through this mess, which again made this a pretty easy project. I bought a whole bunch of these cords, and they're very nice cords, but they're really fat. So even on this one, which is pretty straightforward, they barely fit. So whenever I've got one that's a little trickier to thread the cord through, it's been a bit of a challenge. Okay, so I was trying to get a nice close-up shot of wiring the chicken, and I cut everything off. So I will get a shot of wiring on my little demo I have here, and I will dub it in because this is important. So We have the ridges side. So R is for ridges, and R and S go together. So ridges and silver, R and S. So you simply put the ridges and silver side, easy as that. And then you're just gonna tighten it down. Easy as that. And then where the gold screw is, I have to unscrew it a little bit. There we go. Tighten it down, and that's how you're going to do it. Got 2 pieces here, and I'm going to glue them. I've taken sandpaper, and I have scuffed up the edges because this is really a shiny, smooth surface, and I want that to be scuffed up a little bit. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue Original, and I'm going to just gooby that on there and glue that down and make this one piece, and our little chicken lamp will be finished. And I am pretty pleased with how she came out. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.